Hey legends, and welcome back to the channel where we look for any reason to go back to the Nordschleife. With the recent announcement of GT7 and the return of many of the features I loved from the series as a kid, I thought to take a trip back through time and catch up on some links in the chain that I'd missed over the years. This time, it's Gran Turismo 4. With its pedigree, a lot of you may wonder, how did you ever not play this game? Well, quite easily, on account of not owning another console past the original PSX and exclusively selling out to the glorious PC Master Race for the last 20 years. You can imagine, much to my excitement, that they actually modeled the entirety of the Nürburgring Nordschleife in this game. It's somewhat crazy to think, given the limitations of the PS2 platform and that the game came out 16 years ago. The track is also reasonably accurate to boot. So, being a little familiar with the circuit and having recently been gifted with the infamous RUF CTR Yellow Bird for completing a boxer engine cup in the game, I thought, why not recreate history in a now historical game? Most of you would be racing fans, so you're likely aware of what I'm referring to, but if not, simply type Yellow Bird and Nordschleife into the search bar and you're going to get what is one of the best automotive videos ever recorded. While this video will not be that, it will at the very least be an homage done to the best of my ability in a PS2 game. Anyway, before I waffle on, be sure to hit that subscribe to stay up to date with future sim racing news and reviews, and let's hit the track. So you know what I really miss about games of this era? It's this kind of chilled out, JRPG-esque, lounge, jazz fusion kind of music. Whatever happened to that since the late 90s and early 2000s? Very, very cool. And also, random thought, but if this is one of the very first Nordschleife models in the world, virtually, at least outside of professional simulators, is this where the trend of making the Nordschleife overly yellow came from? Because in some parts I feel like I'm looking at Assetto Corsa, like a low-resolution Assetto Corsa. Anyway, let's get into it. If we manage to get a mid 7-minute time, I'm gonna be absolutely stoked. And heck, it's probably gonna be the very first time I set a personal best, if I do, listening to breakbeat or hip-hop or whatever this is gonna be. But you know what? I'll take it. The year is 2004, and we play by our own rules. Dear Lord. It's just no downforce on this car. The moment you let off the accelerator, it's just instant oversteer. To that end, I am playing this on a controller, so don't judge too harshly. You're not exactly going to see my best rFactor 2 lines here. But at the same time, I've had to use very minimal assists just in order to make this at all playable, so a little tiny bit of TCS and a very tiny bit of oversteer protection. The oversteer protection probably being the most important thing on this car. You're gonna get on the brakes nice and early here so the car doesn't get too airborne. Oh, it's of course gonna get airborne. Try and maintain as much speed as you can without flying off the circuit. Grass, for some reason in this game, is it's just a great way to end yourself. I don't know why, but they made it pull you off the track. Whereas in real life, you can kind of, cruise it. You can kind of cruise it. No, not like that. Dear God. As I said, lines, they're going to be slightly different to real life here. But if we manage to actually get across the finish line, you know what? I'll consider that a win. Time aside, if we just finish, that's going to be so good. And still blows my mind. 16 years ago, PlayStation 2, they put a 20-kilometer track in there. Right, this part is unbelievably dangerous in this car. And believe it or not, if you haven't seen it, the real life lap looks way more hazardous than this. Now, I'm unsure why Gran Turismo is still telling me to get ready to drive. I've been ready to drive ever since this began, but here we are. Maybe it's afraid I'll forget, and certainly that's not something you want to do with this track and car combination. So precarious. Everything constantly trying to just wind you off the track. Let's see if we can survive Sector 2 as well. We survived Sector 1. That liftoff oversteer though. In some section, oh no. Oh, so much about surviving it. It's so tricky. The game does not like it when you get off onto the grass whatsoever. Try and do my best trail brake. My best controller trail brake. Not quite as easy as with the pedal, but hey, you work with what you're given. Alright, so far so good. We only would have been the car once. Probably still better than I'd be able to do in AC right now. These are not your grandpappy's racing lines, but hopefully they get us through. So, because I've just gotten into this game last night, are there any actual races that take place on this track in the game? I'm guessing there must be some kind of endurance races or something that happen, right? Oh my god, so much. I'm used to just blipping down there, just like blipping the brakes slightly and turning straight in. So I'm always driving GT3s or GTEs, but just no downforce whatsoever in this car. Let's see if we can do this in second. Come on, get it in, turn it in, get rotation. Getting rotation is very hard with the oversteer assist, but then you often get rotation when you don't want it, so that's always fun too. Alright, can we stay in the carousel? Yes, we can. Alright. Now, for the hardest part of the track, stage or sector 3. Oh, no, not on the grass. I can't believe I survived that. It's probably the first and last time I'm ever gonna race this sector with rock and roll in the background. Oh, that lift-off oversteer though. I'm gonna have to overslow the car slightly just to maintain some semblance of control. Slow as fast in cars like this. Probably should have stayed in third there. Let's see if we can be brave and stay in third for this section. Car, of course, has less power across the low rev band, being turbocharged. Flat 6 boxer engine. It's actually where I earned this car. I can't believe they just gifted it to me. It's such a boon. But I did the Boxer Cup or something to that effect. And the Yellow Bird just so happened to be the prize. I mean, what a prize, right? It was very hard to beat, actually, in that cup. Whenever I came across one, my measly Subaru GC8 couldn't quite keep up until I turbocharged the living heck out of it. Alright, a lot of lift-off oversteer here. We've got to be really careful. Oh my god, can't believe I survived that. Be very careful with what we do to stay on the track. Oh my god. This part is horrible in real life, much less in this game. Nice and early on the brakes. Car just squirreling around the moment you get on the brakes. Let's see if third is the gear for this. Third could be the gear for this. I believe second is going to be the gear for this. Second is most certainly the gear for this. Losing a lot of time between gear changes. It's something I could improve with some clutch and flywheel work in the tuning shop, but you know what? We're here to be authentic. Or as authentic as we can be in a console game from 16 years ago. Alright, so on the final straight with 640 on the board. What do you guys think? We're gonna get just above 730, maybe? If all goes well? Maybe. Depends how this deceleration section goes. It's probably, for this car, the most dangerous part of the entire circuit, so I'm keen to see how we go. This is one of the few times I'm glad a game does not have a realistic damage model. Or any damage model at all. Thank you, GT. Nice and early on the brakes. Staying fourth and then down to third maybe here and then down to second. Nice and early on everything. Come on. Around the corner, what can we get? What can we get out of this? Get some rotation out of the car. Oh, we just missed the 730. 7:32, that is my personal best, guys. That is the best lap I've ever done in this car on this track in Gran Turismo, at least since getting it last night. So I'm curious what the potential is. Can you get a low 7 if you're an absolute maniac? Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. I had a ton of fun driving through this. It's always a great challenge no matter what game you do it in. The Yellow Bird and the Nordschleife are an infamous combo. If you haven't seen the real life video, you owe it to yourself to check it out. It's one of the reasons that many of us are even into motorsport in the first place. So before I waffle on too much, make sure to smash that sub to stay up to date with future sim racing news and reviews. We have a full release of Automobilista 2 around the corner. On top of that, we're going to be keeping on top of developments in Gran Turismo 7 as it comes closer to fruition. I'm really keen to check that one out now that it's bringing back all the features I loved as a kid, like the tuning workshop, used cars. I really want to hot up an old R32 or something, or an NSX. It's going to be so much fun. Anyway, guys, until next time, we'll see you later.